Is this only the beginning of all the secrets? What really happened to Jungkook and Taehyung after Jungkook finally spoke, and why did his words make fans cry and HYBE tremble in fear? Like, comment, and subscribe right now before you read any further, because what you are about to witness may change the way you see everything you thought you knew. Fans waited. They waited in silence, in noise, in tears, in hope, in fear. They waited with hands shaking above their phones, eyes glued to screens, hearts beating too fast, asking the same question again and again. Is this only the beginning of all the secrets? When Jungkook finally broke his silence, the world felt like it stopped breathing for a moment. His voice, soft but heavy, carried more than words. It carried years of pressure, hidden wounds, unspoken pain, and something else that nobody could name yet. Something that felt like a storm before it arrives. What really happened to Jungkook and Taehyung? Why did Jungkook's words make fans cry like they had lost something precious? And why did people start whispering that HYBE was afraid? It all started with waiting. Waiting is a dangerous thing for fans. When idols go silent, imagination grows louder. Every post, every glance, every lyric becomes a clue. Fans noticed that something had changed between Jungkook and Taehyung. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, like a shadow that slowly stretches as the sun goes down. Their smiles still existed, but they didn't always reach the eyes. Their laughter still sounded bright, but sometimes it broke too quickly. Fans asked, but answers didn't come. Until Jungkook spoke. When Jungkook appeared and said he wanted to talk honestly, hearts around the world jumped. Some fans cried before he even said anything, because they already felt something heavy was coming. He didn't shout. He didn't accuse. He didn't give names. He just spoke like someone who had been holding his breath for too long and finally had to breathe. Even if it hurt, he said that there were moments when he felt lost even while standing under bright lights. He said that sometimes smiling in front of millions feels lonelier than being alone in a dark room. He said that people don't always see what happens behind the stage, behind the cameras, behind the perfect images. Then he said something that made the air feel cold. He said that there were things he couldn't explain yet, things that involved people he loved deeply, things that were not simple, not clean, not easy to turn into a headline. He said that he and Taehyung had walked through something difficult together, something that tested their hearts, their trust, and their strength. He didn't say exactly what it was. And that made it worse, because silence filled the empty spaces of his words, and fans rushed to fill that silence with their fears. Did they fight? Did someone hurt them? Were they forced into something they didn't choose? Were they protecting someone? Or were they protecting themselves? Jungkook said that sometimes loving someone means staying quiet even when you want to scream. Sometimes protecting someone means letting people misunderstand you. Sometimes being strong means breaking inside where nobody can see. When he said that, many fans started crying. Not because they knew the full story, but because they felt the weight of not knowing. Because they saw the pain in his eyes. Because they remembered every moment where Jungkook and Taehyung looked at each other like they shared a language nobody else could hear. And suddenly, those moments felt different. Not just sweet, not just warm, but heavy with memory. Then came the fear. People started saying HYBE was afraid. Why would a company be afraid of one idol speaking honestly? Because honesty is dangerous when it touches things that were never meant to be seen. Because truth can break images that were carefully built. Because even one sentence, spoken at the wrong time, can open doors that cannot be closed again. Fans began to watch everything more closely. Old videos were replayed. Old interviews were studied. Old lyrics were read again, this time like secret letters instead of songs. People found lines that suddenly sounded like cries for help. They found smiles that looked like masks. They found jokes that sounded like pain hiding behind laughter. And in the middle of all this searching, Taehyung stayed quiet. That silence screamed louder than any statement. Fans asked, where is Taehyung in all of this? Why hasn't he spoken? Is he hurt? Is he protecting Jungkook? Is Jungkook protecting him? Some fans believed that something big had happened. Something that involved pressure, control, fear of losing everything they worked for. Some believed it was about dreams that were almost taken away. Some believed it was about choices that were not fully theirs. But nobody truly knew. And that not knowing felt like torture. Jungkook's words didn't give answers. They gave questions. They gave feelings. They gave hints, like shadows on a wall that show a shape but not the full body. That he said that he learned what it means to be brave in silence. He said that Taehyung taught him how to smile even when your heart is tired. He said that there were days when they only needed to look at each other to understand everything. When fans heard that, they cried again, because it sounded like two people who had survived something together. Something painful, something secret. And if they survived it, what was it? People started to whisper that HYBE was trying to control the story. Not by speaking loudly, but by staying very careful, very clean, very quiet. No strong denials. No big explanations. Just silence, like a wall. But silence makes people imagine more. Some fans said that the company was afraid because Jungkook's honesty could open doors to questions they don't want to answer. Questions about pressure. About freedom. About how much of an idol's life truly belongs to them. Others said HYBE wasn't afraid of Jungkook, but of what fans might do if they realized how deep the pain really went. Because fans are not just listeners. They are protectors. And when they feel someone they love is hurting, they become louder than any company. Every day after Jungkook spoke, fans waited for Taehyung. They waited for one word, one post, one look that could explain everything. But Taehyung remained quiet, like he was standing in the middle of a storm, choosing to close his eyes and breathe. That silence broke hearts. Some fans said that maybe Taehyung was too hurt to speak. Some said he was being careful. Some said he was protecting Jungkook by staying silent. Some said he was protecting himself, that no matter the reason, his silence felt heavy, like a hand pressing on everyone's chest. People started to say, this is only the beginning. Because when someone finally starts to speak after a long silence, they rarely stop at just one sentence. They speak again, and again, and again. And each time, more truth comes out. Jungkook didn't say everything. He said enough to make people feel something was wrong, but not enough to explain it. That is the most painful kind of honesty, because it opens wounds without closing them. Fans began to write letters online, saying they didn't need perfect idols. They didn't need happy stories all the time. They just wanted Jungkook and Taehyung to be safe, to be honest, to be free. They said they were ready to hear the truth, even if it hurt. But was the truth ready to be heard? Sometimes the truth doesn't just hurt feelings. Sometimes it hurts systems. Sometimes it breaks contracts. Sometimes it changes power. And that is why people believe HYBE is afraid. Not afraid of fans. Not afraid of rumors. But afraid of what might happen if the full story ever comes out. What if the story is about being controlled? What if it's about being silenced? What if it's about dreams that were shaped more by rules than by hearts? Nobody knows. But everyone feels something is coming. That Jungkook's eyes when he spoke were not angry. They were tired. They were deep. They looked like someone who had carried too much for too long. That he said that sometimes the hardest thing is not performing on stage, but pretending you are okay when you are not. He said that sometimes you smile for others even when you don't recognize yourself in that smile. That he said that he and Taehyung have cried together more times than people would ever imagine. When fans heard that, they didn't just cry. They felt like crying was the only language left. Because idols are often seen as light, as hope, as joy. But Jungkook reminded everyone that light comes from fire, and fire burns. Taehyung in his silence became a mystery. A beautiful, painful mystery. Some fans said that his silence is louder than any confession. That it feels like he is standing behind Jungkook, letting him speak for both of them.